All right, so this is a town, and it's probably pretty similar to a lot of towns in Vermont. We got some farms, some cows, you got a neighborhood, a nice mountain, maybe some hiking trails up there. Got plenty of roads and some cars on the roads. But this is not just a town, it's also a watershed. We've got streams, we've got a lake, and underneath the ground, under our town, is groundwater. Groundwater is under everyone, and if you get your water from a well, which a lot of people in Vermont do, that means you're drinking groundwater. So, what sorts of things in this town could affect our watershed? Well, over here we have a factory, and what if this factory isn't very smart about their waste? What if, say, they have some sludge coming out and oops, they just let it drain right into the river. Now that sludge has made it to the river, into the lake. And if this particular town gets their drinking water from that lake, that's not looking so good. So instead, this factory should send their wastewater over to our wastewater treatment plant, which can treat it so it's safe and then put the clean water back into the river instead of that gross sludge. Now over here in the neighborhood, what have we got going on? Well, people have their lawns. It looks like a nice summer day, so maybe they want to fertilize their lawns. Over in the backyard, it looks like a golf course. We want nice green grass in the golf course, so let's put some fertilizer there to make it grow. But then the next day it rains. What happens when it rains? Well, that fertilizer is now running off the golf course, and down into our stream. And our stream's also taking it all the way to the lake. That's not so good. That fertilizer makes the grass grow when it's on the lawn, but in the lake it can make algae grow. And not only that looks pretty gross if you want to swim in a lake filled with algae, but it's also not so good if you want to drink that water, and not so good for the fish who want to live in that water. So we want to make sure if we're using fertilizer, we use it in the right amount and try to avoid doing it before it rains so that it has time to soak into the soil instead of getting washed into the stream. And now over here in our neighborhood, we've got cars. They drive along the road, probably spend most of their time in the driveway. But what if one of these cars is leaking oil? It might not seem that big of a deal if you get some oil, leaking on your driveway or onto the road. But if it comes along and rains and that oil is now picked up by the rain, flows down into the storm drain, and the storm drain makes it leak into the river, and then the river takes it over to the lake. That's not so good. Now you have oil in your water. You definitely don't want to drink that, and the fish really don't want to live in that. And we have a farm. Looks like our farm grows some crops. Looks like we got some cows on the farm. And this time of year in the spring, when those crops haven't really grown yet, we tend to have a lot of bare dirt. And dirt might seem like a good thing to have on a farm, but if there's nothing keeping it in place, when it rains or when it's windy, that dirt can get blown off your farm field, and it can also pollute our water. This is called erosion, when soil or dirt leaves the land and gets into the water. So it's not great for the farmer. He just lost his soil. And it's also not so good over in our lake. That soil can make the water cloudy, which makes it harder for fish to breathe. It'll smother the gravel on the bottom, which is where fish tend to lay their eggs. And you gotta filter that soil out before you can drink the water. This sort of thing can also be a problem over for our cows. Cows, They make milk, which is awesome, but they also make manure. And that cow manure just sits there. It also can get into the water. And now you've got cow poop in your stream and in your lake. The cow poop can have bacteria in it, so that can make you sick. It's also got those nutrients, like the fertilizer did, that will make algae grow. And it's not just cows we're worried about. What if you and your family go up for a nice hike in this mountain, and you take your dog, and your dog's running around, and maybe you're examining a rock or something and don't see that he has gone to the bathroom. One dog pooping in the woods, that doesn't seem like such a big deal, but if lots of people go hiking and lots of dogs go pooping, then that dog poop also can get into our streams, get into our lake, get into our drinking water, and that bacteria is not healthy for the river. So we want to prevent that by picking up your dog poop whenever you take him for a hike or for a walk. So now check out what's going on in our lake. We've got sludge from our factory, we've got car oil, we've got fertilizer, we have soil, we have cow poop, we have dog poop. None of that is stuff that we want to drink. So it's important for all of us at home to do our best to keep our water clean, to protect the health of our watershed, to protect all the animals who rely on it, and to protect ourselves because we drink that water too.